This is a speaker from a pair of computer speakers I got. This is the main one with all the electronics in. These are quite old speakers and they work okay, although the only thing is it's got a transformer in and that buzzes all the time. Like even when it's switched off you can hear it buzzing. So I'm going to see if I can modify them to not do that. Okay, so I took the 4 screws out the back, then it opened up quite nicely. It did have this insulation fluffing, which seems like a bit of a fire hazard in with all the hot electronics and transformers, but well, it hasn't caught fire yet and it's about 20 years old, so must not be. I also took the circuit board off that had 3 screws in. I think this is like the main amplifier circuit board. Then this is one with the volume and tone, and of course the power switch there. Okay, now this is a part you probably shouldn't try at home, or if you do then just be careful when you're doing it. So basically what I did was I took these little grabber probes and put them across the filter capacitor. I know it's a filter because it's the one after the rectifier, which is all the diodes there. And I plugged it in and measured the output voltage and it was about 16 volts, so now I know where it runs off. Okay, so I got my power supply set to 12 volts there. I'm trying 12 volts because that's like a really common power adapter voltage. Quite easy to find a 12 volt power adapter. And I've got some no copyright music here. So I plugged them into the computer. I'm going to try it on some different voltages, see how it runs. If I can clip it on there. Hopefully you can hear that. That's 12 volts is okay. Still going on 6 volts. 4 volts. And it's cut off there. Yeah, it's surprising it works on as low as 4 volts when it originally runs on 16. So yeah, I could run this on either 5 volts or 12 volts because they're quite common to find. I think I'm going to go with 12 because if it's 5 volts it'd probably be off USB and then it might get like interference, because I had some speakers that ran off USB and they had interference, so I'm going to use a 12 volt power adapter for them. Oh, another thing I forgot to do was check what current it uses. So you can see that's about 60 milliamps, so shouldn't really need a beefy power adapter for it. Should work on any of them really. Okay, so I found a couple of 12 volt adapters. That one's 12 volt 2 amps and that one's 12 volt 1 amp. I only use 0.06 amps, so either of them would work really. I think I'm going to go with the 1 amp because then I can use a 2 amp one for something else. And I must have needed the connector off this power adapter because it's already been cut off. But that doesn't matter because I don't need it anyway. And what's interesting about this modification is that the power adapter is DC, so it has a plus and a minus, but I can connect it up either way because the transformer's AC, so it goes through a full bridge rectifier. So no matter which way the electricity is running through it, the output will all be the same way. So basically I can just connect it either way. So I'm going to be connecting it in place of these 2 output wires of the transformer, so that way I can still use the power switch. And the transformer's holding with these 2 screws on the back, so I'll just undo them. Okay, so it turns out it's actually a nut and a bolt, not a screw. And so I had to use this screwdriver to hold the nut in place, which is not its intended purpose, but it works alright. And if you look how far down it was in the speaker, yeah, there's no chance of getting a spanner down there, so pretty glad I have this. Okay, so 2 wires I'm going to be replacing are the purple ones. So you can see there's one of them. Then the other one connects to that circuit board down there. There it is. There you go. Did melt the glue a bit, but not too much. And now I'm going to have to try and replace the mains cord with the power adapter cord, so I have to try and get that thing out. Okay, that took quite a lot of effort, but it's out now and ready for the new cable. It's quite difficult because these are meant to be like single use, like you put the cable through, put it in, and then it's not meant to come out again, but it can be enough force. I also soldered the other one off camera, so it should be all ready now. Okay, so now's the time to test it, see if it works. I've not put it all back together yet in case it doesn't work and I have to resolder something, make sure the switch is on. And this is a new plug. Let's give it a try. Okay, it's on, it's making a bit of noise, I don't know if that's interference or what. Let's see. Seems to have gone now, plugged it in. Make sure my volume is not all the way up. And yeah, it's working. It's a new plug. Volume. Tone there, so you've got like bass and treble. On off switch still works as well. Power LED there. See, I think I'm going to put them back together now. Okay, so I'll start by putting the bolts for the transformer back in. Even though they're not holding anything in place, I just don't want two holes in the back of it. Now I've put the amplifier circuit board back in place. That's got 3 screws on it. Going to reuse the old cable grip, because there's no point using a new one. Might just do this off camera. Alright, that was quite fiddly, but I managed to get it in. Put the foam back in place. I think that just like makes it sound better or something, probably. I don't know how it works. Okay, here it is, all back together. I'll go bring the other one down, actually test them both. Alright, here's the other one. They're both connected up. I didn't need to do anything to this one because it's just the connection just goes straight to the speaker, so there's no electronics in this. There they are, both working in stereo. I did do the stereo test, by the way. The one with all the controls is the right one and the plain one's the left one. It's Goodman's Active 65 speakers. I can't seem to find much information about this on the internet, so if you do know anything about these speakers, then leave a comment because I'd like to find out a bit more. The speakers are also quite a lot lighter now, the big transformers out of them. This is the transformer. So basically what this does is it takes the 240 volts from the mains through here, and then it steps it down to about 16 volts through these 2 wires for the speakers, because the speakers only need low voltage. But another side effect of this is that it makes a humming noise, which can be quite annoying, especially if it's on like a wooden desk, then that like amplifies it. So I've replaced it with this power adapter. Should be nice and silent now. It's also quite light. This is like newer technology though, so back when these were made, this is all they had. Okay, so I've got them set up on my desk here. Although one thing that's quite annoying is that the left and right's the wrong way around, because I can't have the right speaker over there because the cables won't reach. Although I've got these 2 adapters here which can go around whichever way you want, so I think these might work for swapping them around. Alright, so I tried it with those adapters and it didn't really work unless it was at like the perfect angle. So I made this cable. It looks a bit horrible, but like it's going to be under the desk, so you're not going to see it. And it's only small anyway, so hopefully it works. And as you can see now,
Left channel.
That's the left. Move over to the right.
Right channel.
The right way around. I don't know if you can see it down there. But yeah, it's out of the way, so you won't really see it. So yeah, the speakers are all sorted out now and there's no more annoying buzz.